Hey, we're here with Scott Sackett. Let me share his screen since he's right in the middle of something. What are you doing there, Scott?
Oh, I'm inking a. This is a okay. So my church has a car show every year. It's a bug bash is what they call it, and so they've asked me. I don't do it every year, but every once in a while, every couple of years, I'll do a T-shirt for them, and it's Volkswagen themed. And so this year the guy said, "Hey, can you do like a rat fink thing?" And I thought, well, that'd be cool. Yeah, I thought that'd be cool, but I didn't want to. I didn't steal like a rat. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I didn't want to just.
You didn't
So I kind of
copy
came
it.
up. No, I didn't copy it. I kind of came up with. I did a.
You didn't trace
I
it.
got a couple. No, I don't know. These are the ones I used as like a
Inspiration,
guide kind of
reference. Yeah.
inspiration. Yeah, just yeah. And so I took a picture of a couple of Volkswagens and I photoshopped it and kind of warped it in Photoshop just to kind of make it easy on myself.
Yeah.
and anyway, I thought it looked pretty cool. I'm not quite done with it, obviously, and even when I'm done, one thing I've noticed about the Roth stuff, Big Daddy Roth stuff, is there's a lot of textures on it, that I don't have, so I need to go in and add some of that. But I wanted to get the basics down here. And some of this I'll do in Photoshop. And the other thing is, you know, this could still look terrible if the lettering sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Oh, yeah. I just got through with that with this book I just put out. I made just a totally awful decision on the font, and I couldn't stand it looking at it anymore,
oh
and
yeah.
uh, and revised it. And finally, now when someone goes to the page, they'll see the revised one,
I
which is
I,
good.
I am learning through doing my comic, which I mean I always kind of knew this, but man, lettering is, you know,
It's huge. Yeah.
I am lettering my comic, and I kind of wish I wasn't, just because it's a ton of work. But I'm doing it. I'm making it a good thing because I'm doing it on the thumbnails. So I'm making sure the lettering actually fits into the wording. I mean the
Yeah.
art, and it flows and all that jazz. I can kind of arrange it how I want, and I'm not trying to fit it in afterwards, which sucks. I've done that, and it sucks sometimes because even if you think there's enough room, there will be places where there's not enough room. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
and like I'm doing sound effects, and anybody can type out like boom, but you really want to go in and monkey with it to make it look good.
You, you usually on sound effects want to just go ahead and hand letter it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm not hand lettering them, but yeah, I mean I'm going in Illustrator and really modifying them. And I'm a big John Byrne fan, and he's doing an X-Men series, like a fan fiction thing, and he shared what he did, which I thought was brilliant. If I was writing something, I'd do this. I would do this. Before he started, he came. He sat down, and I don't know if he did it in Photoshop or what, made a page of sound effects, and so he just drops it in where he needs it.
Oh, that is
And
brilliant.
yeah,
There's a
because
lot. There's a lot of this stuff that digitally.
yeah,
I would really like to have a discussion with Richard Corbin. Someone needs to do the interview
oh
because
yeah,
I know he uses Photoshop and has probably mastered it like nobody else. Because that'd be just the way he would be. That he would uh, become a master of it. And I would like to hear him talk about what he used to do for colors and what he does now with Photoshop.
well, the
Because
interesting
he
thing about,
used to have the. Yeah, go ahead.
well, I was going to say what you're getting ready to say. The Corbin, his colors were unique,
Yeah.
and part of it, well, you know why, don't you?
Yes. Oh, yes. I saw firsthand when I visited him in Kansas City, if you can
You
believe this,
visited Richard Corbin in Kansas City. Oh my
back
gosh.
back before there was heavy metal, and I got to see him with his
Oh my gosh.
pages of Den Pace. He had them all the continuous tone artwork uh, taped up to the side of his little basement studio in this condo he lived in. And down there, he had his camera equipment, and he explained exactly how he did it. Because I was doing process camera work myself, so I understood what he was talking about. And he just methodically, the same way you do when you're making mats. If you want to not expose something, you shoot. He was shooting with amberlith and stuff successively. He would raise it as he wanted to lighten the area of gray. And basically, he was doing what you do when you click on the channels in
Yep.
Photoshop. He was doing that
But he was
by hand in his
right.
head. It's, nobody else has ever, I don't think anybody else ever even tried to do it. He was the only guy.
Basically, now for anyone, let me explain it in a different way. You tell me if I'm way off base. I mean, just because. So what you're saying is, he would take the art, and he was doing. Okay, so anybody that for a complete art process newbie out there, if you want colored art, okay, now forget about computers. This is pre-computers. Forget about computers. Say you did a watercolor and you wanted to get prints made. You would send it someplace and they would do separations. And I'm not even sure how they did them. They had some sort of process. It was very expensive to get done. We used to do it at the newspaper I worked at. And we only did it on the cover we only did it on the cover. The center spread, we would do spot colors. Now, spot colors, like at the newspaper, were different because, in case you can't tell, I think all this stuff is just really cool. But the spot colors are where you have okay. This is a perfect example. Okay, so the blue is a spot color. So what you would do is you would do your line art, the black part, and then if in the old days, you would cut this out on a piece of film, either amber or ruby lith, probably ruby lith. Amber lith wasn't always opaque. And then you would flap it and you put registration marks on it, which were little crosshairs. And so you could lay it down and you could lift it up and they could shoot it. They'd put it and they'd shoot it. And then they'd shoot this part. And then when they printed it, they would print black ink and they'd print this part with blue ink. Okay, so that's spot printing, or that's a spot color basically. However, photos, you can't do that unless you're Richard Corbin, because what you would do is you take the photo and you would send it to a company and they would separate it into, okay, let's say it's printed, so it would be CMYK because it's additive. If you ever look into Photoshop, for anybody that's used it, it has CMYK and RGB because CMYK is what they call additive colors. And what that means is it's for ink and paint and stuff that you add the colors together. And if you add all of them, it makes black. Wait, is that right? Yeah, that's right. And then RGB, which is light. And the light, when you add all the light color, the red, which is red, green, blue, and CMYK is cyan, magenta, yellow, and K is black. When you add the RGB together, it makes white. Okay, because it's light. When you remove color or when you remove light, it makes black. So when you add all the full spectrum together, it makes white. Okay, so for printing, you need CMYK. If you're going to print colors, what you do is you take a photo and they would separate them. What that means is they would run it through, I guess they would shoot it with different filters and it would filter out, they would get a halftone print, they'd get a negative that was of the cyan, the magenta, the yellow, and the black. And then when you run it through the press, and it'd be a 4-color press, and you would put cyan, magenta, yellow, and black ink in it. And when you come out, you have full color print. Okay, so what Richard?
It's pretty amazing, yeah.
It is. It's amazing that somebody ever figured this out. And what's sad is everything I just said is well, no, it's not really. It's interesting because people use that kind of stuff in Photoshop and have no idea why, and that is why. Um, so so what Richard Corbin was doing is he would do his art because his art was full color, right? Or did he do it gray? He did gray, didn't
He
he?
did it gray. That he does it like everybody that teaches concept art in these colleges teaches their kids because they want them to first learn the importance of the values. So you do it as gray, and then you colorize it, and that's what he
Right.
was doing it.
But
And
but he never had a colored original, did he?
rarely he can paint, but he
Right.
mostly used that technique for most of his
So he
commercial
would
work.
so he would create the cyan, the magenta, the yellow, and the black uh, uh, plates basically by eye or by not, by his brain,
Instinct. Yeah,
by
yeah.
instinct. But that's why if you ever look at Richard Corbin stuff, it has this weird look that nothing else looks like it.
No, nobody else. He cornered the market on looking like Richard Corbin for sure.
Yeah,
And
cool.
it's and all these film directors that came along that sports especially old the guy who did Hellboy what's his name Del Toro, yeah.
Guillermo del Toro, or
Guillermo del Toro, yeah. He he's got something there that he's an artist too. If you didn't know that about
oh
Del,
sure, his
yeah.
sketchbooks. He has a Hellboy sketchbook that's pretty cool looking. It's just a bunch of
Oh, I'd
drawings.
like to see him draw Hellboy. Yeah, I bet he's good.
Oh,
I
I've
bet I could look it
seen.
up.
Yeah, you can find. Before he did the movie, he filled a sketchbook with sketches of, and I mean, he's not. It's different. I mean, he's not an artist. I mean, he
He's an
is, but
idea guy. Yeah,
right. It's
but the
not.
same eye. He's got an artist eye because
Sure.
he obviously he really appreciates artists. He's that guy that had the big art exhibit. I sure wish I could have gone to that, where he opened up his collection for people to just wander
Oh,
through. And
jeez.
wouldn't that have been great to look at
Yeah.
all of what Del Toro thinks is cool art?
Yeah. It would almost be. What that reminds me of on online. Somebody compiled a list because apparently in the letter pages of Hellboy, Mignola would talk about this, but it was all the books that he talked about being in his library, and it was all kinds of like horror fiction or like weird reference books and stuff. You know.
But that is a thing that he and Mignola have in common.
Yeah.
It always kind of bugs me when well, it doesn't bug me. So you can like what you want to like, but there's a lot
Sure.
of people that just hate Richard Corbin, and I just don't get
Oh,
it.
he's
He's
he's he's an
and
he's an acquired taste.
yeah, I guess that's it.
Not everyone has good taste, Ellis.
Yeah, I guess that's it. And he and of course Mignola is the other biggest
Yeah.
biggest Corbin fan on earth. So there you go. I rest my case in terms of
Yeah.
like who knows what, because
Well,
those two
Richard
guys.
Richard Corbin is a great. I have a book that's got a real long chapter. It's got an interview with him. It's called. Hang on, it might be right here. Maybe I'll put my hand on it. Hang on just a second. I think it's this book. I'm literally still sitting in my seat. Okay.
Able to reach.
Yep. This is the book. Yeah, my studio is cleaner now, so I can. So this is. I don't know if you've ever seen this book called "How to Draw Art for Comics." My cousin, who's an artist, sent this to me years ago. This is a great book. I need to show you this book. It's got a chapter on Dick Sprang, Joe Kubert, Harvey Kurtzman, Richard Corbin, Al Williamson, Will Elder, Art Spiegelman, Gil Kane, Hal Foster, Alex Raymond. And it's
Wow.
got the appendix about the Kubert Art School. This was
Oh man,
from 89. So
look at that thing. Well,
yeah, I mean, and so it's got a chapter. Man, I need to read it. I haven't read this in ages. I need to pull this thing out.
yeah,
But
that
here's
is
the
so. Yeah, look at that.
and he talks a little bit. Now, oh, you know what? His chapter is not very long, but
Well,
yeah, his
what art is are they showing off there of his?
I think that's from
What strip?
Dan. No, it says early fanzine work.
Okay, I see the one that I recognize. It's
That
called Ralph. Ralph,
which one? This
or
the
the one on the right that I'm looking at. Ralph. I think
oh
that's
yeah.
what it is. It might not be. It might be the Beast of Wolfton. I'm not sure.
I think Corbin's well one he's a guy that I don't know if his art has changed ever. Yeah, right here. I've never taken a course on comics.
No, he was
But I mean nobody would have. But,
he was in a commercial animation studio, and like I've said several times, you want something that trains you up to be able to do anything. Let's
animation.
try to be an animator. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
you're going to learn what's what in terms of like saying, okay, I can do 200 drawings today if I'll concentrate on just draining it down to the essentials, and that's what animators do.
I had to give this book a smell because my cousin used to, at the time when he sent me this he smoked, and everything he sent me from back then smells like cigarette smoke still. I mean, dude, he probably
That is quite. I wonder what that would cost on eBay. That's a pretty cool book.
I don't know. I don't. Hang on.
And that was
it is pretty cool. Yeah, I told him like in the late '90s. My cousin he lived in New York and he worked for. He was the art director for an oil company up there, out of their national offices, and and I would write to him, and so I sent him some copies of some of my art I was working on, stuff from sketchbooks. This was before I even started attempting. I drew my sketchbook for a long time before I ever started attempting to draw comics because I was just like, I knew that I didn't know what I needed to know, Oops, there goes that. How to draw.
Oh, you're looking it up?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Why not?
Why not? The problem is now there's so many how to draw comics books.
Yeah.
No, but they're terrible. A lot of them. So I should say some of them are good, but man, the number of drawing books out there has exploded. I don't even see it on Amazon. Hang on, let me do this. I may have to.
That's why I reacted so much to it. As I imagine, it's hard to find.
It might be. Oh, it's all.
Anything that's out of print automatically becomes something that's going to have a.
I don't. This doesn't even have a publisher name on it. Oh, Pioneer.
Yeah, it's going to have some sort of.
I'm not seeing it. Let's see.
Some real annoying price tag.
Oh no! It's, you can get for $14 with $4 shipping. There's one left one left in stock.
Well, that's great. Glad to hear it. You probably sold everyone they had in stock tonight, even with our small audience.
The one review says, "Don't buy this book. It's misleading with a hand and pins on the front, like there's some drawing lessons on the inside. There's not one drawing lesson in this book. Only articles which aren't helpful at all."
Huh, that's interesting.
You can get it used for a couple bucks, $6. There's a few out there. They're out
so
there.
It's basically a fan publication about the artists. Okay.
Well, but I mean but they talk about their process,
Yeah.
I mean, I think the guy that said I didn't learn a thing or whatever wasn't reading it right. It's one of those.
Yeah, you would have learned all about Richard Corbin.
He wanted a book that told you draw a circle and that's your head, and that it's not that kind of book.
Go over those lessons again. Yeah.
Yeah, because you can't get those anywhere else.
Yeah, get that 10 pages of
Loomis.
every book. Yeah, of
Yeah,
every book
of every book. Here's your
that
rib
tells you
cage.
how to buy
The
your
rib cage is an
flexible nib.
egg.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think they tell you about nibs anymore. Nibs are out,
Oh,
unfortunately.
I don't know.
No,
I've
I say that.
followed a
That's
lot
not.
of people on Twitter that
Yeah,
they're
that's true. I
still
shouldn't
doing
say
it.
that. The Japanese have held the line on nibs.
Yep.
Says the guy that's inking with a Sharpie. Oh,
It's not museum quality.
nope. I have a John Byrne drawing with a Sharpie that I got in the '90s, and it still looks good as
I bet.
new.
Sure.
It's hanging in my studio. Yeah.
I
Oh
think
yeah.
that's
I mean,
actually
Sharp.
pretty good pigment usually.
Yeah, I think it is too. I mean, what you don't want is you don't want to leave it in the sun.
Oh no.
You know. But what kind of Philistine would do that?
Yeah.
So what'd you do today, Ellis?
I made a pizza with
Oh
that
yeah.
boboli
Oh, did you? Did you
yeah,
like it?
crust. Oh yeah, man. The idea that you can make a pizza if you've got
Yeah.
all the ingredients as quick as you can make an open face sandwich. It's
Oh yeah. Did you put it in an oven or a toaster oven or?
put it in an oven. It was great.
Yeah, we used to do that occasionally. Speaking of pizza, we saw an ad. Little Caesars has this pepperoni pizza with mozzarella cheese on it. We saw an
Hmm.
ad for it, and I looked at Michelle and I said, "We're getting pizza Friday." We haven't ate out. I've not eaten any food not prepared in my kitchen, my own kitchen,
Yeah,
100%.
that's
And
the way I live.
price, price 6 weeks. I mean, and we didn't go out there. We're not big going out and eat people anyway. But I
Well,
don't.
that's the thing about my experience with this whole pandemic. It's like, my whole thing has been so what? It's I haven't done anything differently. You know,
Yeah, I mean, we've. I mean, have you wore a mask when you go out? Do you have a mask?
oh, I do that because I don't want people,
Judging you,
thinking, oh, there's a guy that
but
we're all going to get it from.
yeah. Oh, I mean,
And I
with
go
your
beyond. I've got an actual. I've got a something that is right next to being just a face mask. It's a.
oh really?
It is. It is. Yeah. It makes me look like I'm there to rob the place. Definitely.
We found some N95 masks, but they're very uncomfortable. I have to wear a mask
Oh
at
yeah.
work. Yeah, because the good mask will seal on your face. And
Sure.
I wear a mask. I don't. So at work, I have to wear a mask if I'm away from my desk because we're. I think I talked about this last week, but we're staggering who's in the office. There's one person in the office. So if somebody comes to my room, I put my mask on, and or if I leave my room, but I only leave my room to go to the bathroom because they don't have coffee or water or anything. So every day when I go to work, which is not every day, but like tomorrow, I'll go into the office, and when I go before I leave, I fix a thermos of coffee and I put it in my backpack, and I have a jug. I have a gallon jug of water that I take with me, and that about lasts me for the day because there's no option to get water. If I they've cut off the service to all of the we have those water coolers with the jugs on them, and they're like, we're not doing that. So it's like, oh man. So the other day I ran out about 4 o'clock, and I was like, I'm gonna be dying of thirst by the time I get home. Oh, and I take a one of those metal, I don't know what you call them, like you put coffee in or whatever. I have one of those. It's like 32 ounces.
Thermos.
Well, it's not a
Uh,
thermos because it's
Oh,
just got
it's
a
not.
lid on it. It's like Barry I was always drinking beverages out of,
Oh yeah.
like one of those Yeti cups or whatever. Mine's I don't know what it is. Anyway, I take that with ice water in it, and then lunchtime I sit in my car and drink that, and then I can drink that on the way home because that jug is so big you can't drink it while you're driving. But yeah, in fact, the idea of like, oh God, I got to pack all that crap up again for work tomorrow. But I mean, I'm glad to have a job, so, and I don't want to, and man, when you go in by yourself, it's pretty sweet. I was in there, and they've done some stuff in my room, so it's like no one can even come in my room hardly. So it's
Well,
like,
that
okay,
would make a big difference to a guy that has to work around people a lot ordinarily.
yeah. Well, I don't have to wear my mask, and I can go in, and it's kind of some of the man like today was kind of crazy, and I was here. And I was telling my wife, I don't know what it is, but man, what on the days I go in, just things go crazy, and I can't decide if it's me being there, or if they
You're
save it for me, or if But I would, I don't know. And we're not as busy as we should be, and so it's like, and so my boss is like, "You're keeping everybody busy, right?" It's like, yeah, best I can.
the main job of a supervisor. Hey,
No,
Tolfer,
yeah. Oh,
Tolfer
have you been
wants to
watching?
know. Yeah, I'm watching who shows up.
Oh, okay, cool.
Here you go. Here, you can see the question. Hey, Ellis, what
Yeah, I'm
kind of
watching.
brace? What kind of brace are you wearing?
Oh, what is that? I didn't even see. What are you wearing? Did you hurt yourself?
No, it's my smudge guard.
Oh, your
See,
smudge car. Oh, dude, that's digital. You can't smudge that. Does
and
it work?
then
Does it work?
it
Did you make that, or did you order? You ordered that, didn't you?
you order these. These are typically you'll see guys that work on Wacom tablet. You know,
I used to wear a glove when I worked on a tablet because
sure.
it kept. Well, on mine, I could turn it off where it would the touch because mine did touch, and so if you had that on and you bumped it, it would screw it up. So I'd turn the touch off.
Well,
But mine was a
it's
I
just
was an Intos.
this is just to make it feel like you're gliding versus sticking. That's the only reason. Is
Oh
that
yeah. Hey,
yeah, go ahead.
well, I was going to say, Topher. I think it's Topher. Topher, thank you for watching. Um, I Ellis and I live in the same town, but we live at opposite ends of it. It's about what, like 20, 30 minutes to get from my house to your house,
Yeah, something like that.
and we don't see each other an awful lot. And so I like streaming because I like talking to Ellis. And
Speaking of that, have you guys
yeah.
got some of your are your better than fictions up that you've been using Zoom on? I'd like to hear those. See how they come
We
out.
have not used Zoom on any of them. We've been
Okay,
using it's that program that Ellis that Barry uses. God, what's the name of it? Where he he gives us a phone number and you call in.
yeah,
It's not video, but it's not Zoom.
cool.
Barry can't use Zoom. I forget why, and he doesn't want to because Zoom is
It's Chinese. Yeah,
well. Barry, it's also not secure. Barry is because Barry works or he worked in IT security at one point. I don't know if that's still his title, but so he's super cautious about that kind of thing. And he's like, I'm not using Zoom, which I don't really want to. I don't want to use Zoom because I don't want to load anything.
right.
Yeah.
All this app stuff is always annoying. Say, okay,
Yeah.
you can
Because you
have
can get
all my
rid of it.
information. Yeah, just give me what I
Yeah.
want.
Yeah. Just allow me to talk to my friends. You know.
Yeah.
I told the guys on the last podcast. I said, you know what? I'm tired of all this crap. I'm ready to be in person with people.
Ready to go back over to Barry's house and take up
Yeah.
space. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, it's not the same. I mean,
Yeah.
even
No,
though
it's not
I've
when
been.
you're looking at somebody and they're waving stuff in your face. No, it can't be the same. Yeah.
Well, like the last time we recorded, I mean, I was here in my studio, and while they were talking about something or another, I was cleaning my studio, and it's like, well,
Uh, yeah,
I
you were
mean,
you were distracting yourself from the main,
well,
yeah, the
I
main
hate to
thing
say
you
I
were
wasn't
doing.
paying attention, but I mean, it's like it's too easy to be distracted,
Sure.
you know, you know, and at least what I like about what we do is I can see what you're working on, but I mean, I'm working. It's not like it's not like you're expecting me to, okay, give me all of your undivided attention, Scott. It's like, okay,
Right.
no, we're working and chatting. We're not trying to, and no offense to Topher or anybody else that watches us, but we're not really trying to entertain them. If they like it, that's cool. And I mean, I'm grateful for that. I'm glad you can get something out of it, but it's just we're just talking, you know.
Well, and it is a real talent. The people that can squeegee a little entertainment into this casual a thing. But
Yeah.
it's amazing. I like the fact that some of these guys that have been broadcasters for years that are now showing up in their little studio
Yeah.
makeshift makeshift studios. They're just they're. I'd rather listen to any of a dozen different casual guys I've learned about, like Scott Adams or anybody else. It's a talent. Not these guys no longer have a thing in their ear where they're getting prompts and stuff like that, and they aren't being handled. They aren't, uh, you know, it's just a,
Yeah,
off
it's
the
just them.
off the cuff. Yeah, it's an off the cuff talent. You got it or you don't. You know.
Yeah. Well, and those are the kind of podcasts I like to listen to for the most part and I'll say this because I don't think the other guys listen. One of the problems I think with ours is we're a little too rigid, in our format. Not
Oh
not
yeah,
this that we're doing, but the better than fictions.
yeah. The better in the fiction. You guys do have you have a menu of items you
Yeah,
get to. Yeah.
yeah, and but I mean, yeah, I wish we were a little more casual about stuff. I think it'd be more entertaining. I think.
Speaking of
Who knows?
podcasts and the typical fare that goes into a podcast, have you seen any movies lately? Stuff you've
Um,
queued up for yourself?
God, I know I watched something on Amazon Prime. Oh, I watched. There
Oh,
was
you watched
a.
the Kirby at War. Kirby at War.
I watched Kirby at War on Prime. That was. Did you watch that?
No, but I almost started it. I didn't quite yet.
I don't. I don't know if that counts, but
Yeah.
no, it's good. I mean, it's only an hour.
Yeah, I've got it in my queue. I've
I
added
watched
it
an.
to the
I
list.
watched an. I watched an Elmore Leonard movie. I can't remember the name of it, but it was not very good.
You saw Freaky Deaky. You recommended it to me.
That's
Yeah.
what I saw. That's what I
Yeah,
saw.
I get the sense that probably the director was probably the problem there. It was directed by some celebrity son kind of guy. I think it was Walter Matthau's kid, come to think of it. Charlie Mathau.
Oh, hey, that reminds me. Have you watched any of those Blandings episodes on
I saw
Amazon?
one. I saw one,
Dude,
and I dig it. I dig it.
dude, we've blown through season one here. We've been watching them.
They're
We've been
funny.
watching
They're
them.
done
They're
well. They're done
they're
well.
well done and they're funny. It takes a while to catch. You got to catch the lingo
Oh
because they're
man,
British.
they're British
It's
and they're
the
speaking with PG
oh
Woodhouse
slang,
dialogue.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
God. Now I think having watched those, I think I understand its books more.
Oh yeah.
It's easier to follow because you put faces with names. The for anybody watching, Blandings is it's a PG Woodhouse series of stories. I don't know if they're books or short stories or what, but and it's about he's an earl, isn't he? An earl who's
He's
who's lost it. He can't remember anything, and
he's
they lives in this old castle with his sister, and his son comes around and wants money, and there's always some kind of mayhem.
yeah.
But
He
I saw there was a series on Amazon Prime. Did you read the books or listen to them?
I've listened to them
Or
all.
both? Oh, you've listened to them? Okay.
I've
Ellis
listened
was
to them and
listening
I've
to
read
them.
quite a bit too.
Okay. Ellis was listening to some P.G. Woodhouse, and he recommended to me. I actually had a book of it. In fact, I had two. I gave you one.
Right, and I read it.
Oh, did you?
Oh yeah.
And so I had, and I don't know why I had one book, much less two. It was just something I come across, and I'd heard about it. And I'd heard it was good. And of course, P.G. Woodhouse wrote the character Jeeves, which is kind of your typical butler uh, type character, and that's kind of where
Yeah.
that comes from. And if you remember
Yeah.
the old
Probably
website,
responsible.
if
Yeah,
you
go
ever
ahead.
seen the old website Ask Jeeves, which probably nobody remembers, that was I think inspired by Jeeves the Butler. Now the Butler's from a different series. That's the Jeeves series. But anyway, we've been watching the Blandings is the name, and it's the series with the Earl. He's got a
Hmm.
pig, and he's got. I mean, it's funny, and we've been watching it, and those seasons are short. They're like 6 episodes, and we blew through the first season, and then we watched like one or two. I think we watched 3 or 4 episodes of the second season, and Michelle was going, "How many more of these are there?" I go, "You know what? There's only about two left." It's like, well, rats, because it's so hard to. When we're home, and even though Michelle and I are both working full time, the on the weekends there's nothing to do, and I mean, it's and my wife, she doesn't like to watch movies, so we don't watch movies. And it's just like, okay. And so we've been watching these because, I mean, all the television is in reruns. There's no series that we really like to watch. We don't watch that much TV. And anyway, so I found these, and she liked them, and now I have to, I had to tell
You
her
know why?
we're
You
about
know what?
done.
You know
What?
why I think she likes them as much as she probably does. They get it
What's that?
right when it comes to flirty, kind of fun love affair kind of stuff. They do that really well. When lovers
That could be.
are getting infatuated with each other, and they're showing a total kind of commitment to being in love, and then at the same time they'll also get crazy angry with each other and stuff like that. Woodhouse did that really well. It was always funny to try to follow what he was up to with lovers, and it was always ultimately, bottom line, there was a love story worked into almost everything he did. I mean,
Oh, all those
you know,
episodes of Blandings. There's some girl that
yeah,
Freddie's chasing after.
it's either going to be a funny botch of a
Yeah.
romance, or
Usually
it's
it's a
going to be
botch.
somebody there's going to be botches, and then fairly often it's like helping out the young lovers and letting them get
Yeah,
on with it, and
so to speak.
so to speak.
I'm
That's
about
also
done
what's
with this.
Yeah, dude, it looks great. Let me get you soloed again. Let's look at this thing. Yeah, well, so I've got a
Except
delay.
I'm gonna. Yeah, I'm watching. There's a delay too.
There it is. Now you're soloed.
So
It doesn't get any,
so
what's funny is it doesn't get any bigger. I don't
yeah,
guess there's
it
any
doesn't,
point in
does it?
soloing. Not really.
So this is what I'm going for, kind of. And you can see
Yeah.
you put the halftone in there, and so I'm gonna put some halftones in there. I'll do that digitally. Actually, I have film. I found halftone film. I may do it. I may do it manually. I hate to waste the
Gonna go
film though,
old
but
school, huh?
I could
Nobody will
do
know how to
that.
handle that. Nobody will know how to handle that. You give somebody some amber lith.
Yeah, no. There's, but I may, I need to, I want to put a ground shadow, but I didn't like the shape I had. I kind of like how this is, and I think I need to dirty it up a little bit. It's almost,
Well, be careful on that. I'd say put a piece of tracing paper on it and do a
dude.
preliminary pass on your dirty up ideas and see if you like it.
Maybe I'll digitally dirty it up.
There you go. That's the way you do it.
That might be a little bit smarter. Because
Yeah, oh
yeah,
yeah.
I'd hate to ruin it. Even though this is
Dude,
a scan, I kept the pencils because I like the pencils, man. I did them with the Blackwing, and man, they looked really good. It was fun just to sit down and draw, and I mean, just the idea of like lines and putting pencil lines where you want them to go. Now if I were smart, I'd use an ellipse for this.
not necessarily. I doubt if Roth ever broke out ellipses when he was drawing, even though
Nah,
he has a lot of nice, and
like
that,
tires.
you want nice curves on your tires and stuff like that. But if you look close at it, he's winging it,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. I tell you what came in really helpful, Ellis, to me, and I'm gonna say this. And earlier, I told Topher that I like to hang out and talk to you, and this is why, or one of the reasons why. Man, I don't know if you remember that day we were in the coffee shop and you showed me how to draw tires on cars.
Yeah.
You drew a little tire in my sketchbook. That really was helpful. Well, you were showing me how you do the shading, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and I
Couple
mean,
of little ellipses. Yeah.
I'm sure I did it wrong, but it went quick,
Mm-hmm.
So
You're close, but the guy that you're kind of got your reference from, he knows what he's up to with those too.
yeah,
It's right there in front of you.
yeah, oh yeah. Well, the only thing that
I
when
got
I
I got it from the old drag cartoons.
oh yeah, well, and I could have lifted the car up more, but it's for a. I didn't want to distort the car too much, you know. In fact, yeah, but I maybe could have done a little bit more. I don't know. It's hard to say.
Well, my advice would have been to distort it some more, but that's all right. It's going to come out like you did it, and that's good because you don't want it to be. Let me look at that engine detail. That looks pretty good. You got a big breather on it. It's basically it's what
So
a dune buggy would have. Yeah, something you
yeah,
could
yeah.
run. You
There should be a pulley behind his head, but I hadn't figured out how to make it look good. I
no. See, that's the deal. You got to say just because it's there doesn't mean you
doesn't mean I
draw
need
it.
to draw it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
No, that you got it as a drawing. You've already got it to the success stage, and so
Oh yeah. So
now you start. Now
now you're
you
starting
start
to
looking at it and say,
butcher.
"Hmm,
Yeah. No, I think it'll be cool. I
I
think it'll
do
be
too. I
cool.
think it's already
I
cool."
really, at this point, if I'm gonna put more time in it, I need to put time in the lettering because the lettering is, I mean, you know, uh, I mean this, that lettering is, pretty cool looking, and I need to do that as an advertisement for a bug show. So I got to do more. There's going to be more. It's got to say the time and all that stuff on there. But I just wanted the car to be cool looking. A lot of I put it on social media. And a lot of people were like, "This is pretty cool. I want one of those shirts." I may tell them, because I just do these just for the heck of it, and
Hmm.
I may say, "Hey, if somebody online wants a shirt, can they email you?" You know,
Hmm.
because that'd be kind of a kick if somebody bought some online. You know, I don't know. They
Well,
may
yeah.
not want to
Well,
do that. Yeah, but or I've had people like, "Yeah, I want one of those shirts." But the bad thing is, I hope they have the event because it's supposed to be in June, which is one reason
oh,
why I'm doing it.
Yeah, sure. All that stuff should be over with by well into June. All this stuff is hopefully just realizing we were all hypnotized and it was a mass hysteria that was very carefully crafted. This is what's very scary is all these guys have been taking notes about how well this worked. They'll do it again. Believe it.
Hey, you know what? Hey, you know what they're setting up? I've already decided this. They're
What?
setting up that this is a test run. The next one is going to be aliens. I'm convinced of that.
No, I mean, this is exactly what they try to do, but they aren't able to hammer you 24/7 without losing every person on earth that would ever tune into them. And that is what they try to do with global warming. They try to tell you you are facing imminent death and destruction at the hands of something unless they get $1 trillion to deal with it. And that's all that's happening now. They want this new budgeted item of trillions right now. That is money that is just it's like cake. They just want to go in and have it somewhere where they can just slice into it for things they make up, you know. And it goes to what's the main thing that is wrong with our system right now? It's crony capitalism. They will decide who gets all the good out of it. And those trillions are not to be casually handed over. $1 trillion is how many millions? It's
1,000 million, isn't it?
No, it's more than that.
No, that's a billion. That's a billion. No, it's
a million millions.
Jeez. Yeah. Well, it's 1/20th of our debt.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Exactly. You're handing over to these people something that they can't even give you statistics on. They are working on something that nobody has ever found a vaccine for. They're acting like they're going to be doing gene modification to do it. So we're being handed just a load of BS about everything that they claim they're up to. And, okay, I guess I'm done. I just wanted to rant a little bit. Because I rarely rant. I usually rant at the TV talking back to people I actually kind of like. I'm usually ranting at Scott Adams, and here he is. I listen to him regularly because I mostly agree with a lot of his stuff,
Oh yeah.
But then he'll come.
Old man yells at clouds.
Yeah, I yell at the TV.
The clouds.
No, I don't. I don't yell at the TV. I painted.
No, I don't think I've ever heard you yell. I don't know who I'd hear you yell at.
I was kind of yelling there, wasn't I?
No, you were pontificating.
Yeah. I was on a roll, is what I was. And if it helps any of these youngsters that turn in the large numbers that they turn into on the show, I'm kidding.
What do you think?
Let's look again. Of course, like I say, it doesn't get any larger.
Yeah.
You have to center it up, though, so we can see it. Yep. It looks good. I like it.
Here's what I'm thinking about doing, and you can tell me if this is a mistake. I'll do it in pencil. I'm thinking about putting a shadow. I mean, it'd just be black. Like there, something like there. What do you think? Maybe kind of irregular.
I'd say experiment with it in Photoshop.
Okay, I'll take that. I'll take that under advisement. I think that's good advice.
Because you want the interest to all go. You've got it all kind of equally shared right now, but it mainly should go to the
hippie.
Yeah, no. You want it to go to the vehicle. That's probably the most fun part.
Well,
in fact,
the vehicle's going to be in color.
Yeah.
Vehicle. I'm going to throw a spot color or two on it.
Yeah.
Do you think the vehicle needs any kind of shading on it or not? I guess not if it's got color.
You
Because I
might
thought
go,
about, yeah.
you might go kind of old school where you do something that looks real screen tony with big old dots on it. That might be kind of fun.
Oh, the dots on. I'm gonna do halftone on the thing, but I was thinking about like something like here, and maybe like a thing here.
Yeah,
That's
make the
that.
tires a different value. Yeah, sounds like a good
No,
idea.
I mean like a dark a dark shape on the fender and on the bottom of it. Or you think it doesn't need it, does it?
Not
Hang
really.
on.
No, no.
Big
Look
Daddy
at
Ross
all
did,
the. Yeah,
Big Daddy Ross didn't do it, so I ain't
yeah,
gonna do it.
exactly.
Okay. Okay. No, no. I'll erase all this, and I'll experiment with the shadow in the computer.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So there you go. I finished my Bug Bash T-shirt.
Use those tools.
Yeah. Hey, we got to talk about art tonight.
That's right.
Art, production art. I was telling somebody the other day. It's like, if I went, my degree in college is like for commercial art, and it was this idea that I would be working someplace doing like paste up and all this desktop publishing stuff that now pre-desktop, all the old publishing stuff,
Yeah.
maybe with like an occasional spot illustration and stuff. And by the time I got out of school, I mean I did that, but and I mean I do it now, but my first job is like, okay, we're working computers here, So I never really had that experience that I was hoping for, which is kind of a drag in some ways. Kind of.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember I worked the first time really on computers at Miramar in San Diego, working on an account that handled the word slides and the lecture materials for the Top Gun pilots. And
Oh,
that,
really?
yeah, that was kind of fun. And our materials were all designed to. Well, that's the deal. Most of our stuff was real old school. We were doing just drawings and shooting stuff and doing word slides the old way you did them. We did stuff with Xeroxing onto colored paper and then modifying the colored paper with the highlights and stuff and markers. And
Oh, yeah.
but then we toward the very end we got a computer where we started doing the word slides with that, and we had to bake them overnight to do nothing more than to get this material off onto film from the computer. It's very elaborate.
Oh, yeah.
It was called a Wasatch computer, and I remember that thing I think it had a 20 meg hard drive,
Oh,
if that.
yeah.
Well, I thought that was huge at the time.
We used to have a stat camera at my work that was awesome. You could take this piece of art and shoot it on that stat camera. And
Oh
I mean, it
yeah,
was just a
I
basic
like.
line. It was a basic line camera, man. You do all
Yeah,
kinds
yeah.
of
I
stuff
used
with
to love
that.
working with. I used to love working with those. Yeah.
We would shoot like, okay, like if I were doing this old school at my work, the old way, because we did a bunch of T-shirts in the '90s. I would draw this, and then I would do my lettering either separately, and I'd probably either shoot this and then shoot the lettering and then strip it all together and then shoot it. And if it needed ruby, what I'd do is I'd shoot a film positive, and then I would cut my colors out of ruby lith and then give them to the screen printers, and they'd burn screens for all that stuff. But we had a deal. God, I forget the company that made it. It was a company here, and I can't remember what it was called, but it was a machine, and you programmed it, and it had a table and then a flap that were independent of each other. The flap was acrylic, and you could put a negative and a positive on there, right? Like Like I
Mm-hmm.
could shoot a negative and a positive of this, and you would glue, not glue, you would tape. It was in our dark room. You would tape film underneath it, unshot film, and to the you would do it to the table, and then you would put the positive on top of it, and then you put the negative on that flap, and you'd line it all up. You had to line all. You put crosshairs on it, registration marks on it, and you line it all up. And then the top, I think it was, would move, and you could control how it moved. And so you could, if you put, say, like if you shot this and you said, man, those lines aren't fat enough, you could put the negative on the top flap, put film on the bottom, and you could program it, and it kind of moved in an orbit, and you could control how much it moved,
Uh-huh.
and you could program it so it moved a little bit, and then you expose it, and it would thicken up all the lines because the negative would move. It was crazy. And if you put a positive in there, we used to do this all the time because we need stuff like you need this art outline for something. You would
Mm-hmm.
put the negative, you put the positive, you put the film underneath it, put film, put positive, put the negative on the flap, and it would move. The positive would block out like this part, the actual line art, but the negative would move outside of it and then put a uniform thickness line around everything black.
Yeah, it's
It was
something you can do
crazy.
in,
It's like
yeah,
so you do
something in
Photoshop with a
Photoshop
button
to, yeah,
press.
two seconds. Yeah.
Oh, it was a machine probably cost us 10 grand.
Yeah.
But were you here in Oklahoma during '89? You weren't, were you?
Let's see. When did I go? I was no. I was well into. I was in San Diego in '86. Yeah.
Hmm. In '89 in Oklahoma here, they had what they call the Olympic Festival here.
Hmm.
And the Olympic Festival, I don't know if they even still do them, but it used to be, it was kind of, they would use it, it was the United States only, and it had all the Olympic sports, and I think it had some extra ones actually, but they would use it, it was on the off years, and some of the sports used it as their trials, and it had some different events in it and stuff. Well, they had it in Oklahoma in '89, and it was a huge deal. And my company made all of the merchandise for it. It was like T-shirts and stuff like that. And we not only made it, but we sold it at the events. The employees did, and it was crazy. And we were so busy. I would go to my work, and I would work until midnight fairly often, just doing T-shirts and stuff because they need them. So they'd be like, "Hey, they want a T-shirt for this event, and they need 1,000 by Friday. So we got to have screens. We got to have art to the guys by whatever by in 2 days or whatever." I mean, it's just crazy that the weird hours and stuff I worked. We used to work. We'd work half days on Saturdays just because I mean that was just considered part of what you worked, you know.
Yeah. Well, as a guy coming from games where these guys just basically, I never was that bad myself because I just never had that much that I could legitimately say I was up to that I was. But the guys that programmed or the guys who were deep into the design,
Yeah,
they just gave up their life for it. They just were there all the time.
yeah.
You know,
Oh yeah, no,
some of it
yeah.
was yeah, it was always, especially when it became crunch, where all of a
Oh
sudden
yeah.
you have to have a certain target date for putting the product out. Oh my God, you just never looked up at that point. So that's something to know for anybody that thinks games sounds just great
Fun.
and fun all the time. Understand that you're becoming Japanese when you do that. You're going to go. You're going to become a company man if you really get in good with a game company. You're going to work a lot.
Yeah, I think it's like animation. Everybody wants to work in animation, but then it's like, well,
Oh man, yeah,
you always hear how
and,
animators are the same way.
yeah, and understand that
There's a layoff at the
all
end.
there is a layoff at the end. They're saying, "Okay, wow, thanks for all your fantastic, great work and all that time you put into it, and call us again someday. Maybe we
Yeah,
may be
maybe
around."
if we get picked up for season 2,
If we
or
don't get
there's
a
a
younger guy
sequel.
that can do your work that
Yeah,
doesn't ask for more money or doesn't ask for less money. So
yeah.
that's how that
The
works.
I tell you what we did watch. You asked what we watched. I finally had the opportunity to watch Waking Sleeping Beauty, and I know you've seen that because you've talked about it.
Have I? I don't think so.
The movie, the documentary about Disney animation.
No,
Oh,
I've
you have?
seen the one. I've
I
seen the
thought you
one
talked.
called that. What used to be hard to get, which is the sweatshop. I've seen that.
Oh, oh, I thought you had talked about this. Oh, well, it's about Disney animation in the late '80s and '90s when they came back with all of the Hercules and all that jazz.
Yeah, yeah. They made a big comeback with Little Mermaid mainly. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, I think that was the
No,
first. I think
Sleeping
the
Beauty. I think Sleeping Beauty put all that back on the map. I think. Yeah.
well, no, Sleeping Beauty was in the '50s,
What the
but the
animation?
yeah, the Disney
Oh yeah.
movies,
Okay. Which one am I thinking of? The Beauty and the Beast. Beauty and the
Beauty
Beast
and the
is the one.
Beast. Yeah, that was in
Yeah.
that wave, that '90s wave, the
Yeah.
post whatever Disney animation. Well, I thought you had told me I thought it was you that told me about that movie. Oh well, I apologize. You should see it. It's good. I'll lend you the DVD sometime.
Okay. The movie I've seen most recently is I'm halfway through Blood on the Moon, which is a Robert Mitchum movie. I've got that rented. I got to watch that the rest of that tonight. It was directed by Robert Wise, who did the first Star
Oh
Trek
yeah,
movie
yeah. And the day the Earth stood still.
and The Day the Earth Stood Still, and some other great movies. But that was really good. But then I also saw a really unusual, super low budget one called Lake Mungo, which is about
Is
this it's an
that on
Australian
Amazon?
thing. It used to be for free on
Okay.
Amazon, but now
Oh
I
yeah.
had to I had to rent it.
Oh yeah. Was it worth
Yeah,
renting? I guess so, or you wouldn't have
it
rented it.
it was it was pretty good. I heard about
What's
it
it?
on a
What's it?
discussion. It's about a girl that dies drowns at while she's out with her family. I thought she drowned at Lake Mungo, but Lake Mungo is a dried area that all the Aborigines used to have rituals at, and so it's actually a part of Australia that's more like a freaky dried up lake bed kind of thing. So she didn't drown in the dried up lake bed. Anyway, what it's about
That's
is basically a ghost story, but it's told really well in a documentary style fashion, and it has some nice creepy moments in it.
oh yeah. I don't think that's the
And
movie I'm
we
thinking of.
Yeah, probably not.
I think I'm thinking of something called the Lake Monster, maybe, or something like that. I don't know. I don't think it's Australian. Anyway.
Hey, we're over an hour. You ready
Oh,
to
are
quit?
we?
Yep.
Oh yeah. You can see I finished
Let's look
my
at it.
car thing. Oh, the car
Yes.
thing.
I
Oh,
saw.
okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at your new art on your
Oh yeah.
heaven
This.
decks.
Yep, page 4. Got to ink page 4. I called the writer on Sunday and we were talking, and I mean, he's excited about it. I'm excited about it. Uh, in fact, I need to start. I have not scanned in the inks for issue 3, and he's like, yeah, if you scan those to me, I'll get them. I'll get the first 4 issues to the colorist, and I'm like, oh, I need to do that then.
Cool.
Anyway, here's the.
Well, yeah, it came out nice.
I think it looks pretty good for what it is. for what it is, I think it looks pretty good. Here's what I was just. This is one I had. This is one I did from years ago. That's the car
Oh
that he was on.
yeah, on vellum.
Yeah, I did it on, but I don't know if I traced it or not. I can't remember. I might
Probably.
but I don't know why I would have done it on vellum
Yeah, sure.
if
I
I
mean, it's
didn't.
got a very nice surface. Takes ink
Yeah,
pretty
that's
well.
true. That's true. When we used to do stuff by hand at work, we always did it on vellum.
Yeah.
And then when we went strictly computers, they had boxes of vellum.
Yeah,
I
you
still got.
gave me some. You gave me some of it. Yeah.
Did I give you some? God,
Yeah.
I got a bot. They bought. I mean, those pads are like $40 a piece, and they gave me a box of like a dozen
Yeah.
pads or something. It's like, oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
it's good paper. Hey,
it's good paper. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I just
Are
want
we
to
done?
everybody look in the body of this whatever we call this our show.
This YouTube.
Yeah, and see the link there to my new paperback, The Locust Bride. That's now live on Amazon. Yeah, so buy that from me and see what I spent a year writing. Check that out.
It's in print and it's ready to go. It's a print copy.
It's ready to go. Yep.
Have you got your proofs in? Did they look good?
I haven't got them yet, so I'm telling people to buy something that might look like crap. So roll the dice for $7, but you can also get it on Kindle. So
it's $7?
Yes. No, the Kindle is only $3.
Oh, I will get one, Ellis.
Okay, thanks.
I want to read it. Is shipping free? Can I get it on Prime?
Yes, I think so. Okay, what do you want to plug, Scott?
The thing that I want to plug right now the most is I have recently redone my web page. I'm very happy with how it comes out, how it has come out. During this pandemic, we've been stuck in the house, and I've talked before about how I've had to redo a bunch of stuff in my studio because I had some shelves collapse. I had to go through a bunch of art files. As part of that, I realized I haven't updated my website in 2 years, so I've redone my website, or I've updated the art, I should say, cleaned out a bunch of old stuff, put on some really cool new stuff. If you want to check it out, it's there on the screen right there at scottsackett.org. I'd love for people to see it because now it's current. That's the big thing, I think.
Yeah, very cool. Well, okay, we're about to end the broadcast then, and we'll be back next Wednesday, I guess. See you then, Scott.
Okay. See you, man. Yeah. You're ending?
I have ended. There we go.
Okay. Okay, well, cool.
Anything else you want to say to me? I think we did a pretty